Maybe we should demand Pentagon transparency for, like, literally anything else. The Pentagon has failed so many audits. We don't know where, like, hundreds of billions of dollars have gone. The Pentagon only managed to account for 39% of its $3.5 trillion in assets. And we're concerned with transparency on the UFO question. UFO hearing, please. Trust me, I know about the UFO hearing.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we...
It's this guy. It's this same guy. We've seen this guy before. You're right. This is kind of a weird thumb for the Associated Press, don't you think? It looks a little bit like Nick Cage, you know, we're going to steal the Declaration of Independence to prove UFOs exist or something. Who's that guy? I don't remember you talking about him. Okay, look, okay, we're going through the Cliff Notes, because I don't care, because it's not real, okay? Look, we're going through the Cliff Notes, okay? UFO hearing key takeaways. A lot of people have been freaking out over this. What a whistleblower told Congress about UAP. A former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about unidentified anomalous phenomena, that's what they call UFOs now, alleging at a hearing that executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious object for years. David Grush, who served for 14 years as an intel officer in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, appeared before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee alongside two former fighter pilots who had first-hand experience with UAP. First of all, let me be clear, okay? Fighter pilots should not be trusted for anything. They are on coke all the time. They are on uppers every second they are up there. They are insane. Anyone who has worked in the Air Force knows this for a fact. All fighter pilots are insane, okay? They are up there hallucinating. They are tripping balls. They are fighting imaginary wars with the clouds. You cannot trust their accounts for shit, okay? They see a flash of light in the distance. It could have been anything, and they think aliens, all right? They sound really fun? I've heard that. Grush served as a representative on two Pentagon task forces investigating UAP until earlier this year. He told lawmakers he was informed of a, quote, multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work examining classified programs. He said he was denied access to those programs when he requested it and accused the military of misappropriating funds to shield those operations from congressional oversight. He later said he had interviewed officials who had direct knowledge of aircraft with non-human origins. All right, where's the proof? The Pentagon did not immediately respond to a request for comment about Grush's claims, but the department has denied his assertions in the past. The UAP issue has gained widespread attention from Congress and the public in recent years with the release of several video recordings of the encounters, which typically show seemingly nondescript objects moving through the air at very high speeds with no apparent method of propulsion. Okay, guys, the reason why people are fixating on aliens right now is because the far right is heavy conspiracy-brained and want yet another example of the federal government, especially the executive branch, covering up some big secret that will revolutionize everything. It's just the same as QAnon. It's the same as the Rapture. It's the same as everything else. All conspiracy theories have exactly the same source. Every time, okay? They're all the exact same narrative. The reason why the right... You would think, by the way, that the right would be the ones denying this because the right heavily caters towards Christian fundamentalists, and Christian fundamentalists don't believe in aliens. Most Christian fundamentalists that I have met or heard of fervently deny the existence of aliens because they believe that Earth is the functional center of the moral universe, that God created us in his image, we have the Bible, and the Bible is God's word, and there is no secret, extra, other race of sentient beings not created by God or given a different Bible. Far-right religious people just tend not to engage much with the narrativizing on UFOs and aliens. Or they call them demons, you know? But the far right is interested in them in this case because it furthers the conspiracy narrative. The Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, which Congress established last year to investigate the incidents, has investigated roughly 800 reports of UAP as of May. While military officials have said most cases have innocuous origins, many others remain unexplained. Okay, here's why. Because a grainy video footage clip of something that happened in 2004 in Iraq is not something you can necessarily investigate and verify 20 years in the future. Imagine if somebody showed you a shaky video clip of something they saw while at a concert and were like, hey, can you, like, prove this wasn't aliens? You'd be like, what the fuck do you mean? Wait, go back in time and be there? What do you mean? Imagine if this standard was applied to every Bigfoot sighting. Like, yeah, let's get the Pentagon out there to check whether or not Bigfoot was really seen there. Can you disprove this Bigfoot? No, you can't disprove. What do you mean? That doesn't mean anything. But people treat the non-explained incidents of UAP as evidence that, like, there's something out there they can't explain. There's lots of shit out there they can't explain. What exactly did I just do to that tin of Altoids to make it fly off my desk? Did I smack it, flick it, punch it? What did I do? Explain that. Can the Pentagon explain that? Explain that, you eggheads. At the Pentagon, can you explain that? No, they can't. Oh, aliens must have done it then. No, that's just not how evidence works. And I feel like the world is returning to, like, caveman brain. It's like medieval peasant brain. We're all going to be throwing salt over our shoulder before long. Jesus Christ. This shit pisses me off so much. Because I'm not even, like, arguing with evidence or, like, doing analysis or whatever. I'm arguing with, like, the basic tenets of evidence gathering. I might as well be trying to explain the scientific theory to doubters, you know? Like, someone's trying to explain to me how they make all decisions based on their gut. And I'm like, okay, well, can you, like, replicate evidence to prove the veracity of the... And he punches me. He hits me with a rock. He does the rock to me. That's my thing. In addition to Grush, the panel heard testimonies from Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot, Don't Trust Pilots, who has spoken out about encountering UAP on training missions. And hey, isn't it interesting how the people who keep encountering UAP are pilots, people flying at 6 times the speed of light and are also on drugs, and not, say, I don't know, radar operators or any of the, like, tens of thousands of people in the Navy and the Air Force whose job it is to specifically monitor what it is going on in the sky? Isn't it interesting how it's the lunatics up in the sky moving at Mach 50 and not all the, like, sensible people with PhDs operating the electrical equipment down on the ground that see this stuff? And David Fravor, who shot the now famous Tic Tac video of a large object during a flight off the coast of California in 2004. Great, wow. We have a celebrity here. Now, for congressional inquiry, we have a guy who shot a shaky UFO video 20 years ago. Thanks. Bring them all out here, won't you? Every guy who ever took a video of a dot in the sky, please. All 3 witnesses said current reporting systems are inadequate to investigate UAP encounters, said a stigma still exists for pirates. Probably. For pilots and officials who press for more transparency about their experiences. Good. I want more stigma. I want additional stigma. Graves was an F-18 pilot stationed in Virginia Beach in 2014 when a squadron first began detecting unknown objects. He described them as, quote, dark gray or black cubes inside a clear sphere where the apex or tips of the cubes were touching the inside of that sphere. Isn't it crazy how so often when people claim, especially people moving at Mach 50, claim they see UFOs, it's always something that could be like, I don't know, a vision artifact? Like, whenever people see UFOs, it's always a dot or a sphere or a cube or something else that's A, easy to imagine, and B, easy to literally hallucinate, like dots in your eyes, and not, I don't know, a complex and sort of spatially distinct vessel, you know? It's like eye floaters, like you rub your eyes really hard. There's no it's literally, again, they're on drugs. All pilots are high 24/7. They're moving at 50 billion times the speed. They're zooming around the Earth like Superman at the first movie when he turns back time. Yar, yeah, thank you. They're all sleep deprived. Their G forces are straining their brain and pressing their eyeballs into their sockets like eggs sinking into the pan. He said a fellow pilot told him about one incident about 10 miles off the coast in which, anecdote, in which an object between 5 and 15 feet in diameter flew between 5 and 15 feet in diameter? Flew between 2 F-18s and came within 50 feet of the aircraft. What do you think? Do you think that was a ship? 5 to 15 feet? Do you know how big an F-18 length? 56 feet. people, I have trouble conceptualizing like how large jets are, because like a jet's like, oh well, one guy's in there, you know. Then you actually think about it, jets are really, really like big. They're very large. You need they need to be large to go that fast. So we're talking about something that's like about, see the circle I'm drawing with my mouse right now? We're drawing something like this. What am I meant to make of this? And it flew between them, and they're moving forward in F-18s. So how quickly did it move by? I want you to imagine for a second the limits of your vision and eyesight. You know when you're driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour and another car going opposite you drives by 80 miles per hour, okay? Now I want you to imagine being the pilot of an F-18 and something flies past you that's 5 to 15 feet. How much time does your eye have to process that information, okay? Because F-18s do not move at 80 miles an hour. They move significantly faster than 80 miles per hour. We're talking a fraction of a second. 5 to 15 feet. He saw a buh. That's what he saw. Okay? He hadn't slept in 56 hours. He had done meth, and he saw a buh right next to him. A little buh. That's what he saw. I see buh. Sometimes you're driving around sleep deprived, you know, you're trying to focus on the road, and you're like, ugh, you know, buh. Gotta keep yourself focused, on task. Okay? He saw a little buh. He said there was no acknowledgement of the incident or way to report the encounter at the time. No acknowledgement? Sir, I saw a bleh while I was flying by. I saw it for 1/1000th of a second because I'm in a jet. How do I report this to the Pentagon? Can you get me the commander-in-chief, okay? Get me the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all right? I want to talk to combined 500 chest-pinned medals worth of guys. If everyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change. I urge us to put away Oh, okay, then here's a quick question. If we're talking about sensor and video data, why aren't you talking about that instead of, like, these anecdotes that you have of dark spheres that you saw? If you were like, yeah, I looked at the control panel and saw evidence of an additional object moving at impossible speeds, why not talk about that instead of your dark sphere story? Bravo recounted his 2004 encounter with an object off the California coast. He told the subcommittee this. Let's see the video. Tic Tac video. Sure, why not? Navy pilots recall unsettling 2004. Just show me the video. Watch USS Nimitz Tic Tac UFO declassified video clip from the History Channel. The second link is a Fuck you, History Channel. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, dude. Thanks. Fantastic. Really playing to the stereotype here. Ancient alien shit. Sure. What's going on? Yeah, spooky music. Let's go. I'm sure the music was original to the video recording. Just show me the clip. I'm turning the music off. Holy shit, that's right. Oh my god. That's so true. The dot is sometimes white and sometimes black. That's two colors the dot can be. Uh-huh. Is it time for the crack pipe yet? Don't make me. I'm so tempted to do the entire segment like this. Bro, why won't the Pentagon debunk this? Why won't the Pentagon debunk this? Why won't the Pentagon debunk this? Why can't the Pentagon debunk... Oh, video! Look at this! Whoa! Holy shit, that's crazy. Why can't the Pentagon debunk this? It's the same old story as with Bigfoot. Every time you get a definitive capture of the bastard, it's in 144p, being held by a guy with Parkinson's. You must feel pretty dumb now with this evidence. You're right, Dron. I do feel pretty dumb. Fantastic stuff. Thanks, History Channel. Wednesday's hearing took place amid a growing willingness by lawmakers to demand the military and intelligence agencies release more what they know regarding the mysterious incidents, with many members of Congress citing the potential national security threat posed by Oh my God. With many members of Congress citing the potential national security threat posed by unknown objects near U.S. space. We're going to do a Starship Troopers bit where we're going to do like United Earth Directorate fascism because of the threat of some guys 5 trillion light years away, dude. Do you want to know more? I don't want to know more. Also, what do you think you're going to do if there actually are aliens, huh? If there actually are aliens that developed interstellar travel, what are you going to do? Seriously, I'm really asking, what are you going to do? We don't even have a planetary defense network. We don't have starships. Come on. Like, seriously, come on. We don't even have things that can really aim up. Our big nukes are meant to come back down. A bipartisan group of senators led by Chuck Schumer introduced, it's not just Republicans, the Democrats too, and I hate them for it, require executive branch agencies to hand over UAP records to a review board with the presumption of immediate disclosure. Hey, maybe we should demand Pentagon transparency for, like, literally anything else. How many times has the Pentagon failed an audit? Seriously, the Pentagon has failed so many audits. We don't know where like hundreds of billions of dollars have gone. The Defense Department, literally, the Pentagon only managed to account for 39% of its 3.5 trillion in assets. The wealthiest institution in human existence. Nothing has ever had as much money to spend as the Pentagon. Nothing in human history. And it can't even account for half of its finances. And we're concerned with transparency on the UFO question. Quick clip debunking the UFO. No, I'm not even going to care to debunk. I don't think I should have to debunk it. No. I'm not falling for this presumption of evidence bullshit, okay? I don't need to debunk anything. I need to be given evidence. I don't have to debunk a dot. You don't have to show me a dot, and then I have to construct a geospatial debunking of whether or not it can be a vehicle of a design that no one can define. I'm not falling for it. Can we get Pentagon transparency on any other issue, please? On anything, please? At Wednesday's hearing, lawmakers of both parties expressed anger over their inability to get information about UAP from the military and intelligence. Okay, guys, do you want to know why the Pentagon is secretive about this? All right, let's run through the reasons, actual reasons that I thought of because I'm smart and everyone in Congress is stupid, okay? 1, revealing every incidence of UAP tracked by the Pentagon would reveal data about our satellite and spy networks that are confidential, and they don't want to release it. They also don't want to release stuff that they do have because the stuff that they don't release would be a tacit admission of certain areas being covered exclusively by satellite technology that we still consider to be secretive. Ergo, they want to keep everything close to their chest, even the bullshit. 2, as I said before, because of how burdens of proof work, even if they could release everything without being worried about the secrecy of any given satellite or spy network, it wouldn't change the fact that no system is capable of disproving the existence of UFOs being alien in origin in every case of every grainy video footage bit they get, meaning that it would be a tacit admission to many dumb that they were unable to disprove the existence of aliens rather than they simply didn't find any evidence of aliens. Ergo, knowing that the public is stupid, and people in Congress, they don't want to release this information because they're aware of the fact that it would only spurn further investigation and not settle the issue the way it should be settled. That's it. If there really was a government conspiracy, by the way, to cover up the aliens, first of all, why? You know, they never get to this. They never explain this to me. Why? I get a lot of other presumed government conspiracies. Why do 9/11? Because Bush really wanted a war in Iraq to boost his poll numbers. I don't believe that's true. I think 9/11 just happened because Osama bin Laden's a goofy guy. I think that Osama bin Laden, Gumo Gumo no airliner 9/11 is a showcase of his power. I don't think that George Bush did it, even though it's funny to meme about. Pearl Harbor, you know, they let Pearl Harbor happen because he wanted an excuse to it. I don't think that happened either. But whatever. Like, give me a reason. Why cover up the alien shit? Really? Like why? I'm under the impression, based on my understanding of interstellar travel being a fairly complicated technological endeavor, that if the aliens wanted to do anything with or to or get any message across to humanity, they would simply do so. The government couldn't stop them. So why? The usual reason put forward is they don't want the public to panic. I don't buy that bullshit, man. Guys, Just saw this crazy movie called Oppenheimer, okay? You know what really made the public panic? Widespread knowledge of nuclear weapons. And what did America do the nanosecond we developed them? We used them and bragged about it, okay? I don't think the government shies away from big developments that are existentially terrifying, especially if they make the U.S. look powerful, which in this case, if we're the ones hiding it, it would. The government can't keep secrets, and even if they could, why that secret? We built a culture out of atomic paranoia. I just don't think that's like enough of a reason. I don't know why, but and you know what? If they really were trying to hide this information, why didn't they have the whistleblower killed? Serious question. Real question. Like, if they've been touting this shit for decades, that would not be difficult for the deep state to do, okay? Like, I don't buy this shit, okay? I don't buy it. Also, if you look into the guy who's making these central claims at all, it's pretty obvious that he's a crank, okay? David Grush, he's made a ton of claims. The UFOs could be from another dimension. Oh yeah, he claimed here. Grush claimed the first UFO case he was briefed on involved a vehicle downed in Italy in 1933. The Mussolini government had allegedly kept it in storage until near the end of World War II. Pope Pius the 12th back-channeled the existence of the object to the U.S., who obtained it in 1944 or 45. So it's a Vatican conspiracy, too, which is where it's like checking all the boxes for conspiracies. It's not enough that it's America covering it up. It's also a Vatican conspiracy, which, by the way, oh yeah, dude, Mussolini, who was allied with Hitler, the esoteric mysticist who was constantly desperate for anything to metaphysically justify Aryan supremacy, they would definitely keep it secret. Yeah, that's definitely something they would do, you know? Yeah, the Nazis, the people who sent, like, expeditions to uncover artifacts in like, the like ancient Mayan ruins and shit like that. Yeah, those guys would be keen on keeping that a secret, even years before the war. Jesus. No, it's literally, it's book deals. It's all, this is the greatest book deal opportunity of this guy's life. He's been a crank for decades, and now he's here in front of Congress, and he can testify under oath, and here's the best thing, he can't be prosecuted for it, because all the shit he's testifying under oath for is stuff so dumb and so innocuous that the Pentagon's not going to call him on it. The Pentagon isn't going to try to prove that he's wrong, because in doing so, they would end up revealing a bunch of information that they're self-interested in not revealing. So it's perfect. He's talking under oath, which gives him legitimacy, but he's talking about stuff that he's not going to be called on, so it doesn't matter. The Pentagon's not going to take any of this seriously because it's run by people who have different priorities, i.e. wasting a bunch of U.S. taxpayer money on finding new ways to synthesize LSD and rub it on door handles. That's more the CIA thing. They're doing something with that money. I don't know. They're building crazy satellites and hover tanks or whatever. And this guy gets to make a ton of claims to Congress. Look at this. Look at look at how happy he is. He's a smiling boy. Look at how happy he is. This idiot gets to talk to Congress over this shit. Sorry, this stuff really does get me riled up because I can't stand conspiracy theories. And esotericism just has there's so many better things to use it on than this. It's a waste of legislative time as well. Yeah, while the ocean boils, we have our congressional leaders here in a room listening to a guy gunning for several book deals.
He said that his radar went down. He said that his FLIR system malfunctioned and that he had to manually take this image from one of the lenses, and it was not automated in collection as you would typically see in a test mission.
Wow, what an incredible coincidence. Guys, the alien craft emitted a series of beams that disabled all of the normal sensor array equipment that I would use to track something. I had no choice but to take a photo of this unidentified object with this shaky camcorder that I also kept with. Matt Gaetz is only here because he knows the age of consent doesn't apply to alien children.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
Okay. One of my constituents actually sent this.
Is this when somebody said AOC comes in here? Where's AOC? My wife. Before this guy? Oh, there she is. Sure, we'll listen to AOC for a sec.
For whistleblowers and for the protection of whistleblowers.
Ms. Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for coming here today. I do concur with the ranking member as well as several other members here on this committee that this is a committee for whistleblowers and for the protection of whistleblowers as well. So we understand what you're putting on the table here and what you're putting on the line here, and we thank you for that.
As is the case with Assange, I'm anti-whistleblower if the whistleblower is annoying. If they're not annoying, I like them, but if they are annoying, I think they should be put in Gitmo.
Mr. Grush, you sat on the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Task Force created in the 2020 NDAA, correct?
Yes.
There have been some things that have been mentioned here during this hearing that I wanted to pick up on. Mr. Graves, you mentioned specifically during the answers to one of your questions, you named Boeing contractors being engaged in an incident regarding this red cube about a football field wide. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the interaction, or Mr. Grush, either of you, the interactions between defense contractor companies and any UAP-related programs or activities.
So I'll just say that the information about the contractor himself were provided by a witness, and I have no particular detail in that relationship.
Mr. Grush.
The kind of general unclassed wave tops, certainly the contractors, are the metal benders, so to speak. They're the ones actually doing specific performance on government contracts.
Are they required to issue any disclosure regarding UAP sightings, or do they engage in any reporting around this?
In terms of the contractors,
Yes.
not that I'm aware of.
They do not. Okay. Now, when it comes to notification that you had mentioned about IRAD programs.
Yeah, I'm bored now. Guys, if they ever fully normalized an internal program for reporting any UAP sightings in the military, there would be 500,000 of them a day. You guys know that, right? If you tell a bunch of soldiers, and with all respect to our armed forces personnel, you are a superstitious, drugged up, and often quite stupid bunch. Hey guys, anytime you see anything in the sky that you don't immediately recognize, file this official form and the Pentagon will get on it. We would bankrupt the entire country in a week following up on those reports. Yeah, UAP investigation team would be like the 6th branch of our, well, I guess Space Force, 7th branch of our military. It'd be larger than all the rest of them combined. Who's to say that's not where the money is going already? I genuinely think that a ton of the Pentagon money, a lot of it is being embezzled, right? Like corruption. I think a lot of it is also just going into programs the Pentagon doesn't want to tell Congress about, Like a lot of it is probably all, because a lot of the stuff that the Pentagon does is covered by some pretty loose rules when it comes to expense disclosure. We literally did this on stream. We looked into, there's a whole branch of the Pentagon that goes into satellite development and spy network stuff, and they don't have to disclose their budget. So the amount of money that goes into them is just a question mark. So technically a full audit of the Pentagon can never happen because they don't, there are elements of the stuff they work on where they just do not want to report it, which makes sense to an extent, right? Because if you do have top secret programs going on, you're like, oh, well, this program received $50 billion this year. It's like, okay, well, obviously they're doing something, right? It would give away information. Yeah, they don't want to show their hand. Not to suggest that the Pentagon is correct in not being able to provide a decent audit. The fact they could only account for 39% of their assets, that's insane, But there's definitely a portion of it that's going towards super crazy, ultra cool military programs, which is dope. This is my position as a socialist. If the U.S. military is going to spend trillions of taxpayer dollars, it should be on something dope. That's what I think, right? We can agree on that. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, it should just be on something cool. Yeah. Railguns? Well, railguns exist. They're just not better than other things that we have. It's one of those things where they've been working on it for a long time, but it's ion cannon. I'm still hyped up about the next generation Abrams, the one that has the electric engine. God only knows what kind of spycraft we have. Yeesh. Railguns would be possible with superconductors. Oh shit, guys. We weren't even thinking about the national security implications of room temperature ambient pressure superconductors. Oh my god. Holy shit. You load up an entire cannon's worth of superconductors on the deck of you bringing back battleships, boys, okay? We're bringing back battleships. We're bringing back deck side cannons, okay? You load up 50 tons of superconductors into a railgun on the deck of a recommissioned battleship and fire a lump of lead at speeds high enough to liquefy the ground that it cuts through. We invade China simply by having our ships point their cannons down and firing through the planet's core. This is the future of warfare, and it is very cool. Wait, why am I getting soy hammered? Railguns aren't a Warhammer 40k thing. The bolters in 40k are rockets. They fire rocket bullets. It's a different thing. The Tau? I don't give a fuck about the Tau. Tau? I don't give a shit. This is a you guy problem. This is use guys thermonuclear. Here we go, boys. The future is now. This is why we can't get a full audit on the Pentagon. Okay, they've been building this one. They're going to they're gonna pull a Psychos during the Monster Association arc in One Punch Man, okay? They're just going to cut off a section of the planet. They're going to do a light shave. The Marine Corps put Tomahawk missiles on an unmanned Jeep. The funniest thing. Hell yes. This is exceedingly American. Do you think we could get this on, like, a motorbike? You know those military motorbikes where they have, like, the side cabin and they're, like, open top and they have kind of, like, that flat-looking back, and then we have that off the back? Can we do that? It'd fall over. We could balance it. We could make it happen. How's this even stable? They glued the wheels to the ground. France once built scooters with anti-tank guns. Yeah, I've seen that. That was during, was that World War II or was that afterwards? Yeah, these were Vespas. This is the same shit that Haruko was riding around in Fooly Cooly. Come on, guys. Come on. That's cool. This is the most impractical shit in the universe, but come on. You have to be driving directly at something to fire at it, because it's not, you can't turn it. So you have to, like, oh, there's a tank, beep, beep, directly towards it. Brilliant. It apparently performed pretty well. That's insane. That's psychotic. This is what the Pentagon is making. The Metal Gear or the nanomachines, son? Which, is it both layers? As I understand it, a Metal Gear is only at peak operational efficiency if it's also being piloted by somebody who controls nanomachines. You know, you guys joke, but I guarantee you that right now, something approximating both nanomachines and Metal Gears are trying to be built in the Pentagon somewhere. Well, not in the Pentagon, but in their budget, somewhere in their docket. No, I guarantee it. 100% I guarantee it. Like, not a joke. That's not a joke. It's their job to get an obscene amount of money from U.S. taxpayers and use it on literally any avenue for making the United States strong. What if they're just lame and not doing anything cool? See, that's the thing. That's the thing I don't believe, because they've always been doing shit like this, right? Like, if you go back and look at anything declassified from, like, any point in time, the Pentagon is always doing shit like this. They have too much money, and they're staffed by meth-addled lunatics. So, like, they are constantly finding new ways to waste our money. And sometimes it works, right? I mean, the atomic bomb. Yeah, from the people who brought you the gay bomb. Very true. Like the Soviet Union spent money on psychic research. Yeah, we make fun of the Soviet Union for spending money on psychic research. But what if they had turned out to be right, huh? And by the way, it's not like we weren't. I mean, the CIA was doing experiments with, like, LSD and with, like, empathy reading. Yeah, MK Ultra shit. Yeah. I think the Russians were wackier with it. But maybe not. Yeah, no, the CIA was scared. Yeah, this is what I mean, too, with, like, UFO reporting, too. Because there were people in the CIA who thought they'd found psychic powers. Because, like, you have a bunch of CIA lunatics who are doing experiments with, like, homeless people and LSD and, like, doping people up. There were people in the CIA who were doping their colleagues because they were trying to find, like, okay, well, how do people react to being on LSD with all these awakened psychic powers without being that they're being doped, right? So they're, like, smearing on door handles and getting their own coworkers high, poisoning the LSD, LSD, poisoning the, like, water cooler and shit. And there were guys there who were like, oh my God, like, this is too much power, you know? They were literally trying to discover psychers, and a lot of them convinced themselves they had. This is why we can't take UFO reports seriously. Men Who Stare at Goats is a non-fiction book by John Ronson, great name, concerning the U.S. Army's exploration of New Age concepts and the potential military applications of the paranormal. The title refers to attempts to kill goats by staring at them and stopping their hearts. Nonfiction. The CIA literally just baked LSD into the bread of a small French village, and they thought they were being possessed by demons in the 1950s just to see what would happen. The CIA loves doing stuff like that. If there are two things that the CIA loves doing more than anything else, okay? arming fascist militias and giving unsuspecting people LSD. Those are the two things they just can't get enough of. To be fair, that sounds very funny. Well, yeah, it's hilarious. The Pentagon tried to create a talking plasma ball called the Voice of God. Right, so dude, yeah, because think of how convenient that would be. If they could, like, create a plasma ball that could talk, they could convince anybody of anything, right? They could go to, like, any remote Italian village, create that ball, convince somebody that is being directly spoken to by God, and have him just shoot up, like, a local communist youth club meeting, you know? And it would be completely unaccountable to them, right? They would be able to do this everywhere. They wouldn't need to do coups anymore, because they could just convince people God told them to do stuff. It'd be great.